Hello, 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 Dr. Alan Harper, your Secure Vibe Coder. And we're here for another live Secure Vibe coding session. We are building an app. We call this app User Vibes OS. And the purpose of this app is to collect the vibes of your user throughout the user journey lifecycle. So whether the user is new to your site and they're just coming and they're attracted to your landing page, or maybe they filled out a survey or a wait list or an email list, throughout the journey, as a user, we give developers the ability to drop a widget into their website so that they can collect these vibes that come back from the user. Now we're focused on this one right here, the blue box, and that is the ideate block, and it has to do with feature request. And this is the most precious block because the feedback that you get from your user is the most precious feedback that you get. And when they ask for a feature, if you implement that feature, they will be a customer for life. All right. So we want user feedback. In particular, we want feature requests and we want bug reports, right? And so we're focused on this right here. The bug reports is the resolve block right here. We'll probably focus on that next. We've already started leaning that direction. And we're going to go ahead and get at it. So we have basically a 3-tier application. We have a JavaScript that is a widget that our users can drop into their websites. And so our customers are developers, okay? And so we want to help developers drop these widgets into their website in just 1 to 3 minutes, depending on how they configure it. And then what they can do is they can sign up for our service on a landing page. We'll take Stripe payments. That's already working. And then what we'll do is we will allow them to get into the back end and go to a dashboard. And off of that dashboard, they can hit a page where they can set up an API key. And then we keep everything. The third tier is in the database, which is we use Convex. It's a real-time database. We love Convex. A lot of benefit for that for this particular use case and most use cases, honestly. It's a tightly coupled with it's a TypeScript database, so it works really naturally with our application. We use Next.js as our tech stack, and so that's TypeScript as well. And so it's just reduces a lot of complexity, and it's a real-time database. So as we make changes, we see them instantly, like on the client or the end user sees it instantly as well. And so we really love that. All right, so we've went through this over the last few days. We have 2 tiers of security. We have public key security, where we give a public key. It's an API key, not to be confused with public key encryption. That's a whole different thing. But we give a public API key that the developer can put in that request back to us. But they understand that that's a lesser security model because an attacker can grab that public key and they can reuse it like on their own website. So we put some speed bumps up to try to prevent that from happening. And then also we have a tier 2 security mode, and that's where we use secret keys, right? And what happens there is our customer uses that secret key and generates a Java web token. They basically sign a JSON packet or JSON object that comes back to us. Inside of that object is the username, the email address, and the user ID, right? And a couple other things. And so we sign that, and then we send it off. And then what we can do is we can authenticate that user then on our back end using the secret key that's used to generate that JWT. We're also going to sign that JSON object, and we're going to verify that the signatures match. Okay, so this is a much more secure way of doing it. We call that tier 2 security, tier 2 mode. All right. Now we have a long checklist of things we've been working on. We've been at this about 25 hours across some 17 sessions. This is the 17th one, I believe. I'm losing track. And we're just having a great time. We're just vibe coding, folks. We've done more in these 17 days than most people can do in 17 weeks, or maybe 17 months in some cases. And we're just knocking it out, right? Because we're vibe coding and AI is doing most of the lift for us. We still have to read and understand what it's doing. And that's what we do here. We do secure vibe coding. That's what makes this channel different than the other channels out there. All right. So You can find out more about me and what we do in the free mentoring link up here, QR code. And then also you'll see a link in the description, no matter what platform you're on. But I encourage you to jump into my free mentoring. You'll find a whole lot more in there, value that I give away for free. And then you'll also find out about my Secure Vibe Coding class in there. And then you also find out about other mentoring opportunities. If I can come alongside you and help you with your app, then you'll find out about that in there as well. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our app in its latest state. So this is the back end. Once we've logged in, we have a dashboard here that's just holding representative data. I look forward to being able to update this with real data. So this is just placeholder data here, but it does look pretty snazzy, doesn't it? And like as you change it, like look at that. Look how it's like animated. I love that. All right, so that's going to be a really cool back end once we get it real data in here. Okay, and this is just placeholder data down here too as well. But then we have a security monitoring dashboard that we see up here. Oh, and this is different. Like, where's our numbers up here? Let me see. Yeah, those of you who were with us last night, you saw that we had totals up here. I have no idea what happened to our totals. So that's one of the first things I guess we'll debug. Like, what's up with that? Let me see if by chance, let's just make sure everything's up and running. We are using Anti-Gravity. That's the newest IDE that's out, but we're actually just using it as a shell so that we can run Claude Code. That's our weapon of choice. Okay, and if you're with me this evening, drop me a hello. Tell me you're here and where you're from. And I'd love to see who's with us tonight. I see we have people online. All right, so let me just see what's going on here. Like there's our Convex database, and that all looks legit. Okay. And this is our actual web application. I don't understand. Let's see. Hold on a second. Okay, yeah, here's the other app from our test site. And that all looks legit. So I have no idea why we have no numbers coming in here. That's the first thing we're going to get AI to figure out for us. So let's go ahead and jump into that. And yeah, it's really odd to me. Hey, I noticed that on our security monitoring dashboard, the totals up at the top are empty all of a sudden. They were working yesterday. I have no idea what changed, but look into that, see what changed, and also investigate why I have no totals. I know I have data in the database, so I should have totals up there. Check into that. Yeah, no idea. And in fact, what I'll do is just go ahead and put a checkpoint up here. Checkpoint that we've updated our settings and our widget tabs for the backend. I'll just go ahead and commit the code that we had from yesterday so that we can kind of see. So in case it makes changes we don't like, we can always revert. Okay. Okay. 3Ds, you out there? Let's check our database real quick. I know it's still got data in it. Let's see here. X dashboard. Okay. Yeah, all kinds of stuff in here. Medium, high. Yeah, we should have data in there. It'll figure it out. Nothing to commit. Okay, also looks correct. Wait, I just realized something. Looking at the security events feed, displayed all the fields, including blah, blah, blah. But looking at our showing in the feed, if the feed shows events, but the summary shows zeros, likely issue. Okay, let me add some debugging information. Yes, the data is in the feed. It's just the totals are not showing. I bet it has something to do with the time. See, notice it's up here messing with the 24 hours. There was probably some time difference in the query. And so yesterday it was finding them, but today it's using like, a new time search. And it's only looking for like totals for the last 24 hours, for example. Of course, there's been none. So I bet you that's what's going on. Let's see what's in here now. Okay, nothing. That has to be it. Okay, I'm still not seeing totals. I see data in the feed. Make sure there's nothing dealing with a time related search. Like, for example, there's been no new alerts for the last 24 hours. That should not be a reason why we have all zeros up there. But make sure it's not something like that. I tell you what'll be really cool once it fixes this. I'll tell it to add us the capability so that we can actually select time searches like last 24 hours, last 7 days, etc. It looks like it's already doing that. Sometimes I don't know if it hears me or if it's just reading my mind. That's kind of spooky. You know, I don't know. I've been talking to this thing too much. How's it going out there, guys? Where are you from? Drop me a note in the chat. Let me know you're watching. Let me know you're not a bot. Will all the humans please speak up? All right. Okay, looks like it's compacting the conversation. Oh, yep. Look, we got our data back. That's interesting. That was an interesting bug. It had to do with time. Like, so the query probably was looking for the last 12 hours or 24 hours, and we haven't done any alerts since then, which is very interesting. Now, I'm going to make sure that those totals, and I'm just going to make sure that we add time ranges in our searches here for both the totals and the actual list down below. So that's the way to fix this properly. But that was interesting. It's kind of like each night we do this, I look at it and something else is broke. That's a heck of a way to test. Hey, Odilsa, good to see you again. Yeah, we made it far. Look, we got a security dashboard since you were. Now, this will be amazing. Like, we got all kinds of stuff since you've been here. Let's see. There's something that's really cool. Like, I'm going to share with you, like over here on the right side is our actual widget now on like a test site. So this is what our customers will actually deploy out to their website. And notice we have these tabs now, and we have a feature request, bug reports. We haven't done anything with that yet. We have a change log, and then we have a roadmap. This roadmap's not working. That's another bug I want to work on. But the idea is now it's a more complex widget, and we can sort, right? Actually, I didn't even ask it for that. It just did that. And we can vote. But here's what's cool. What I want to show you is like if I go into my feature request over here, and this is this project right here. It's on the right. Okay, so what I can do is I can come into the demo here, and what I can do is, so you see on the right here, I'll unvote here, and it'll immediately take the vote off of here and drop it in the list because it's sorted. Well, it's supposed to. What's going on here? Oh, what's interesting about that is when I did it over here, it did it that way, but it didn't do it coming back. I wonder why is that? Let's see. Let's take this one off. Yeah, that's interesting. Look here. If I take it off here, it drops it down in the list and updates it to 0 immediately. Okay. Now, one of the things I noticed, that's a bug. But one of the things I noticed is that, Yeah, I don't know. That's like a one-way sync all of a sudden. So we'll have to. There's another bug. But anyway, pretty cool. Yep, it was working yesterday. Anyway, so what we have now is, before I get to that, what I'll do is I will come back over here. I don't want to get distracted. I was looking at the security dashboard, and we have these security alerts like that violate our security policies because we are secure vibe coders, right? So like we like to give feedback to our developer about all the security issues, and we can see the dashboard up here. Now, what I'm going to tell it to do. Whoop, I didn't mean to do that. Hit the wrong button. Okay, I want you on the security dashboard to add a search range at the top to where I can, by default, show last 24 hours, and then I can show last week and last month, and then whenever we make these changes, and then show custom range. And then when we make these changes, I want to update the summary bars at the top as well as the alert feed, and make sure that all of that filters according to that range. Okay, so you just have to have a vibe in your head, like an idea. Hey, 3Ds, good to see you. And AI is going to do it for us. We're not writing any code here, folks, and that's kind of the point of it. Now, I'm working on a pretty sophisticated app here. It's got a lot going on. Your app probably won't have all this going on, but my purpose in doing this is to kind of show you the errors, show you the methodology, show you my thought process, so that maybe to inspire you to build your own app. Now, again, albeit your app may be much simpler. Who knows? Maybe your first one will be much more complicated. It's up to you. But don't look at anything I'm doing as like what you have to do, like in terms of complexity, right? Like this is a pretty big app. Like this app's going to take me a while to develop out. Your app might just take you a weekend or two, right? Once you learn the concepts. I also encourage you to be making multiple apps. Like this first one is just the base hit. Like you just got to get to first base, right? So you don't even have to make any money with it. Just make an app, man, and learn the process and learn what you weren't good at and what you need to improve, and then practice it, and then make another app, and then come back and fix the first app and maybe take it to market. Hey, that's the fun of it. Don't put any of this pressure on yourself. Like you got to like hit a home run right out the gate. It's not going to happen, folks. This is not my first app. Okay. The one I sold for 200K is not my first app. It's probably like my fifth app in reality. Now that I'm just thinking over the last few years, like fifth app I've tried to like sell, and it did very well. Like, I've made lots of other apps like in school and elsewhere, but like these, like I've seriously tried to maybe take 5 things to production. The first couple, failed miserably, and I pulled the plug on them. One, I got like 10 customers, whatever, and I still pulled the plug on it because it just wasn't doing anything. And then, then I hit, and then by the way, that was all before AI. And then AI come, and then I start crushing it, right? Like, so then I can move faster, and I can iterate, and I can practice faster. So I encourage you guys to just get out there, get your app out there in the world, get real world feedback. That is worth any money that you think that you may make with this thing. Okay. Trust me on that. Like you need reps. You need reps. Okay. Really digging Claude Code using Opus 4.5. Came out like a day and a half ago, and we are loving it. Like much less errors, much more fun again. They seem to get dumber over time, and I think it's because like people are crashing into it, like they're just filling up, taking all their GPU space, and then the companies start nerfing it, and then we feel that, like, you feel it in errors that come back. Like you'll notice like a whole bunch of errors, like it'll say error reading file, it'll say timing out and stuff like that. That's how you know that you're getting nerfed. Nerf means that like when they bait and switch you, instead of getting a real football, you get a Nerf football. Or a Nerf tennis ball or whatever, right? It's just not real. It's not the real thing. It's not satisfying. And after a few weeks, we start to see this model like degrade because it's getting more popular. And then hopefully by the end of the month, they come out with a new model. They release something about once a month. And that last week is where it starts to fall off, just in my experience. Maybe your mileage will vary. That's just what I'm noticing. It's still by far my favorite model, by far. Okay. All right, so it says it did its thing. Look, and it made all these convex changes on the fly because it knew it's got security batteries included, guys. Never sleep on the fact that like this thing's got, we're building on a secure vibe code OS. It's got all these security skills up in the skills folder. And so every prompt I give it, it's thinking about like, do I need to update stuff? And sure enough, look here, it's updating the security parameters right here. Okay, of the security file in convex. I didn't have to tell it to do that. Okay. It's also, yeah, and of course we're on the security page as well. All right, so here we go. Look what it did. It wiped it out. I don't like that necessarily. Don't love that. Refresh. Okay, 24 hours, nothing. Of course, oh, that's what it is. It's by default on 24 hours, and we already know that that's empty. Okay, here's 7 days. Bingo, bango. Okay, here's 30 days, and here's custom. Okay, start date, end date. Let's just give it like a week. Look at that. It works like a champ. You don't even have to give it the end date. That's about as good as it gets, guys. One shot. They call that one shot coding. Like you just give it a prompt and there it is. Actually, honestly, people abuse that term and they want to write a whole app with one shot. Like I don't advise that. The other thing about LLMs is the longer the session, like they're good for short tasks, like up to 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, it just starts going, right? So it behooves you then to break your task up into 5-minute chunks. Like don't try to give it something and then go off to lunch, right? Because when you come back, like you're going to, like that second half of the session is going to be horrible. It's going to be a lot of errors and you're going to have to debug a bunch of stuff. But look at that, guys. Just one quick command. We were able to add search functionality here. I really am digging that. And I don't hate that it's only showing the last 24 hours. Maybe what I'll do is I'll tell it to put the 7 days in by default, because I'm thinking my developers might not come every day and look at this thing. So I want them to see some alerts in there, right? Okay, that's wonderful. Now set the default as 7 days for the search. Yeah, man. And Opus is cheap now, right? It's cheap. What is the Sonnet rates versus Opus rates? Hold on, let me find that out. Open router, we already have it up here. Okay, look here. $3 and $15. Okay, now what's Opus? $5 and $25. Comparable. I mean, like, not twice as much, like, 70% more. But it's so worth it because you will use less tokens with Opus because it'll make less errors. So you can use the cheaper model, but you're going to have to keep going back and fixing stuff. Okay, so you get what you pay for. You're paying in time or tokens or money. I'd much rather pay with money than time. Okay, done. Okay, let's refresh, check the time. I don't like how light that, I could hardly tell that says 7 days, but it is working now. It is defaulting to 7 days. Okay, darken the indicator around the time that's selected. I can barely see it. Let's go back and watch that happen real time. Keep your eye on the 7 days up here. Okay, that's more like it, right? All right, so let's keep rolling. Okay, having a ball. Let's keep rolling. What was that other bug that we saw? Okay, let's fix this thing. Okay, I like how this is mobile responsive. As I'm collapsing it in, see, it notices like I'm going to the size or ratio of a phone, and what it does is it collapses the menu and makes everything responsive. See, everything just adjusts beautifully. Like I didn't have to code that. Like you get that out of Next.js. It's not, you do have to code it, but AI did it for me. But Next.js makes it really easy to do that. That's why it's a very popular language. It's mobile responsive out of the box. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hide the menu here just in this half page view. And I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna go to demo. Okay, it's bugging me that I have two instances here. And if I update this one, it updates real time. But if I update this one, it does not. Okay, so we're gonna fix that right now. Okay, if I have my demo tab up for a particular board, which is using tier 1 security, but it's working. And if I open up another browser and I have the test site up and I'm looking at the request list over there and I have them side by side, I notice that if I make a change on the test site, it immediately reflects in the demo page, but not the other way around. So if I click on something in the demo page, it does not immediately update over on the test site. Fix that. Now I'm going to make sure I got that direction right. No, I had it wrong. I had it reversed. I'm going to have to record that again. Yeah, see, notice how when I update here, it doesn't update over here, but the reverse is true. All right, so I'm going to say reverse that. Now look, let's see how smart it is. Actually, I have the order there reversed. It turns out that if I make a change on the dashboard, it immediately reflects on the demo site, but not the other way around. So fix that. So, you know, us humans would get confused about that, but it's smart enough to understand, like, take my last command and seriously. I was tempted to record the whole thing over, but I thought, you know, it's smart enough to tell the difference. Just like if I was talking to you, right? I'd say, hey, scratch that. Actually, I was confused. Like, reverse that. And like you'd figure it out. See, right here. So changes made on the dashboard reflect on the demo site, but changes made on the demo site using tier 1 do not reflect. No, it just made me a liar. No, you're not understanding. The demo tab uses tier 1. My test site is using tier 2, but that shouldn't matter. They should be in sync through Convex. And I'm noticing that if I make a change in my dashboard demo tab, it is not reflecting over on it does reflect over on the test site immediately. But the reverse is not true. If I click on something like I unvote, for example, on the test site, it does not reflect over in the demo site. So it's like I have a one-way sync going on, and it should be both ways. Yeah. Looks like it understands now what I'm asking. Now it's looking up the queries for each one. The tier 2 one uses a different function. So even though you're not a coder, like you like this will start to rub off on you. Oh, there's 2 different functions here. Okay, all right. Do your thing, man. Actually, it says, I think I found the issue. Look at this folder or look at this function and it shows code here. Don't worry about it. Okay, this query, you can read the English here. This run query, it's saying that's the issue and it's already scrolled up. So I'm just let it roll. All right, who else joined us here? So I've got 3Ds. I've got Adelsa. Who else do I have? Drop me a hello. Well, all the real humans, please stand up and make sure we don't have bots in here. I'm sure we probably do. Just digging into all kinds of stuff here. Okay, sees the test site is using a different approach. It loads the widget, blah, blah, blah. None of that should matter. Those of you who are in the United States, wish you a happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. And we were going to be taking the day off because I'm going to be full of turkey. And so I will meet you guys back up in 2 nights on Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, which is New York time. And we'll go again, right? So I think that's like day 19. And so coming up on 3 weeks of doing this, and we have amazing progress. Okay. Both queries read full documents. This should work. Yeah. Says he thinks he found an initial problem. Okay. It's thinking hard. It's thinking harder than I could. It's funny. Sometimes you see it change something. It says, wait, that won't help because the fingerprint is still being passed, creating a different queries. So you can just kind of see its thought process. By the way, there's a mode that you can put it in where it'll actually slow down and teach you what it's doing. But like, we don't have time for that tonight or any night. But you can put Claude Code in that mode and it'll actually teach you as it's going, right? Be aware of that. It's in the settings. It says it deployed changes, but I'm not confident that this fixes the issue since it didn't change the core behavior. And then it says, let me think about this more systematically. Yes, please do. Actually, wait, you said the demo tab on the dashboard and the test site in another browser. Yeah, that's correct. Actually, can you test this for me? Can you open the browser console? Come on. Looks like it's changed its mind. It's making changes here. Hold on. Now, what I should have done is went ahead and checked this in because that was a lot of changes. It might have broke something. But what we'll do is we'll tell it to roll back if it does. And Claude Code has some increased superpowers recently where it keeps track of what it's doing. And I've faithfully had it like back stuff out before without like using Git. But you're rolling the dice when you do that. Like it may not get it all and you may be worse. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so see this over here? Let's click on it. And what it should do. Okay, so it updated this direction, but now let me go the other way. So what I'm going to do is unvote this one. Okay, I just voted and it went up, but now let me unvote it. Okay, that's working. Now, one thing I noticed though on one of these was it showed like, okay, see how this says that it's voted, but it shows 0. That should not be possible. So that's a new bug. But look, it looks like it fixed the one that we were chasing. Okay, but now I wanted to make sure this never happens. Like, that's not cool. Okay, so let me finish compacting here and then I'll tell it about that one. So this is what you spend a lot of time when you're vibe coding. You're just talking to this thing and you're seeing what the results are, and then you're going back and forth. Again, your app doesn't have to be as complex as mine. Like, I purposefully picked something that's going to take me a while to do. Otherwise, like, this would be a pretty boring series. Like, it'd be over in a week or 2 weeks. But I wanted to get something that's maybe a couple months so that you guys can sink your teeth into it and like follow along. Okay, it says it deployed to fix. Okay, that appears to be working, but now I'm noticing something new. On either side, if I see a blue indicator like next to the vote button, or on the vote button, that tells me that it was voted there. However, like I'll notice it be blue, but the number will be 0, and that should not be possible. If there is a vote present, there should be a number associated with it at least. So check into that and make sure that's not happening. Okay. So like I don't like the looks of this. Like, how is that blue showing that we voted on it over here, but how could it be 0? Like, that doesn't make sense. Now it's 0 over here. That's correct. Now let me go ahead and so I unvote here. I'll go ahead and vote it up, and just to confirm that, see, now that's in sync. That's correct. But when I unvote, it should disappear over here, which it will. Okay, so they fixed it. When I say disappear, what it does, since we're sorting on most voted, it drops down to the in the list because it's no longer a priority. Now, as I voted again, or like, I do it over here, in which case, okay, now this is authenticating me because I'm in tier 1 mode over here. Okay, so that gets a number, and this goes to the top of the list, and it gets a number as well. So that's all cool. It's just we should never see a situation where it's out of sync, and it was before, and now I've lost my example, so I can't really test it again. Let's see if we can refresh and get it to happen again. Okay, we might have to take its word for it if it says it fixed it. It might have fixed it while I was talking. No, it may have. It may have fixed it, and that's why we're no longer seeing any blue ones. Anyway, we'll keep an eye out for that bug. Like, what I'm looking for is like a blue item that has a 0 there. That should never happen. Okay, cool. All right, so we got those pieces working. Okay. Now I've remembered the other one that we saw earlier that we'll go ahead and fix now as soon as it finishes. Okay, great, thanks. Now look, another separate issue on the dashboard for a particular panel, or excuse me, a particular feature request board. On the demo page, actually, scratch that. Okay, on the widget, on the request tab, or excuse me, on the roadmap tab, it just says loading, and it never loads. So fix that. It should load the roadmap mode for that particular widget on that tab. And here, I'll show you what I mean. It'll fix it while we're talking about it. So right here, this just says loading roadmap. Like that should actually load. So with a little luck here while we're watching it, it'll fix that. Through the magic of TV. No, I'm just kidding. Now through AI. Guys, AI is doing all of this for us. You're not going to see me write a line of code on this channel, although I can. I'm a master coder. I've been coding since I've been 7, 8 years old, and I'm 56 now. So do the math. But I don't have to code anymore. It helps that I understand it, but like you guys can do this. If you can speak to an app and give it and tell it what you like and don't like, and tell it what you're seeing and what you're not seeing, you can do this. There's nothing magical about it. Now, the advantage I have is I understand the security part of it. And so that's what I'm teaching you on this channel, right? So that's what you get here, you don't get elsewhere. So give me a favor, thumbs up this video if you're hanging out, and make sure that you subscribe if you haven't. You can also find me on YouTube, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and Twitch. I'm live streaming on all 5 of them right now. So again, if you're new here, or even if you've been here, drop me a hello. Say something in the chat. Will all the humans please stand up? Slim Shady style. Come on, guys. By the way, I love the fact, I love that it's not making me put my username and password back in over here because it knows I'm authenticated. I was thinking about that the other day, and I was thinking we would need to tell it to do that, but it looks like it's already done it. It read my mind again. I don't think we told it to fix that. I noticed that like a few days ago, and it just somehow figured out that it needed to do that. And look here, guys, right before our eyes, the roadmap showed up. Man, slick, looking good too. Okay, so all right, we've got our tabs working here. These are like coming soon. That's cool. But the roadmap and the feature requests, and if you weren't here last time, I'll show you over in the settings panel over here in the back end. So this is the front end, like a demo site, and this is our back end, how you configure it. In the settings tab, we can actually control these widgets. Check this out, guys. Okay, this is pretty awesome. This never gets old. So look, I can drag this feature request. Notice how the first tab over here is feature request. I can drag this down to be the last one, for example. Then I can hit save. And when I hit this save button, watch it immediately change over here, okay? Bingo. Can't beat that. Like, that's the power of Convex. That's what we're looking at there. Okay, Convex is a real-time database. That's what I mean by it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put it back. And I'm gonna hit save changes, and bang. Just like as soon as I let go of the button, it's there, like in milliseconds, like probably less than 100 milliseconds, probably less than 1/10 of a second. It's actually there. Before you can blink your eye, it's there. That, you don't, like that's going across the internet, guys. Like, yeah, I'm here on my local host, but like that database sync is in the cloud. So it's probably like, 50 milliseconds up and 50 milliseconds back, and bam. Before like 1/10 of a second, it's updating. I just, that never gets old to me. Like I've been coding for a long time. I've never seen anything like that. Okay, loving it. Okay, how's it doing? Okay, it said it fixed all of this. All right, so now what I want to do is, okay, I want to go ahead and save that. Down here, make a strong commit for the recent changes and go ahead and commit that and push it to origin. I want to show to you that, Claude Code is better at making commit comments than I am. Now watch what it's going to do. It's going to make a really strong one. And if you don't know Git, ask Claude Code to explain it to you. Say, hey, I know I need to check this stuff into GitHub. How do I do that? It'll tell you step by step how to do it. In fact, it'll just do it for you. After you've learned it, you just say, hey, just go ahead and do it for me. It would do it every time I make a change, but I've told it explicitly not to do that because I prefer to check my own stuff into GitHub. I just like it that way. Now, I'll tell you, when I use Droid from Factory AI, it automatically, every command it puts into GitHub, it almost gets on your nerves. It doesn't cost you anything because, like, commits are free, but it's just, I like to review things before I commit them. And I want to know that it's actually at a checkpoint that I can revert back to in the future. Whereas if it's putting every command up in there, there's bugs and stuff that it's committing. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to bloat up my Git tree. That's just my preference. Okay, so now it's asking me, like, here's the commit command. I would have typed all that. I would have said, I would have given it like one sentence. Okay, so it's going to go ahead and create that git commit. I almost told it to continue to do that in the future on its own. But again, I just told you I don't like to do that. So, all right, so that just did that. Now it's going to go ahead and push it to origin. I could also hit the button myself, but I'm feeling lazy at the moment. Okay, now it's asking me, do you want to push it up to origin? Okay, so in origin is the remote location of your Git repository. So when you use Git, Git, it's a code repository and it stores the code locally. That's a local storage. And it also pushes it to origin, which is remote. Okay. Now I'm oversimplifying it. Like, your origin doesn't have to be remote. It could be, it could even be somewhere local, but typically that's the way it works. So when you say push to origin, it actually knows to, okay, go ahead and push it up to whatever's stored at the origin, which right now I have my remote, GitHub stored there. The real sense of the word origin is like when you fork something from another repo, then that is the origin. Okay, so you have to be careful then that you tell it, to not push to the origin. You have to maybe tell it to push somewhere else. Okay, so but we'll get to that stuff later. Again, if any of that confuses you, just like jump into Claude Code one day and say, teach me how to use Git. It's a far better teacher than I am. Okay, so all that's done. All right, so look, we've been at it 47 minutes. Let's see what we can do here in 12 minutes, all right? Okay, let's go. Pressure's on. I know what I want to do. Okay, I want to make a change. Currently, when feature requests come in, they're going into the backlog panel. I want to change that. I want them to go into a queue that simply is an inbox for feature requests. I want to call the tab feature request, put it within the board settings, not the settings tab, but the first panel of the board should say feature request, and it should be like an inbox. I want to see a stream of the inboxes or the stream of the feature request in a list style. If I click on one of those and I want it to open on the right side, sort of like an email opens, and then I'll give you further instructions from there. I want to have it sorted by the date that they come in to begin with, but have the option to sort it in other ways. Okay, so that's just a long vibe there, right? I got the vibe. I've been thinking about that for about a day, that, hey, I'd like to move the feature request to like its own little list. And I'm going to show you why I'm doing that, because eventually what we're going to do is we're going to take those feature requests and we're going to promote them into our backlog. Like, it doesn't deserve to be in a backlog. So let me explain this. As a developer, you have a backlog. It's a list of things that you need to work on. But just because somebody gives a feature request doesn't mean that it deserves to be in the backlog. So we're going to have a little checkbox in our list of feature requests that says add to the backlog. Okay. And then that moves it over to the board, to the backlog board, that users actually see that, oh, he picked up my feature request, and it's actually in his backlog now. Backlog is a common term in the field of software development. It just means a list of things that you need to do. Okay. And so you'll see how it all comes together here in a moment, if we can not screw it up. All right, pressure's on. 10 minutes to go. Let's see what we can do. It's my intent. I aim for an hour each night, but typically end up going over. I think last night we went over 12 minutes. I don't want to do that. I'd like to try to keep it on an hour, but hey, like, this is life, man. This is software development. It's hard to get it in a 1 hour thing. I could just start winding down now, but what fun would that be? All right, focus, Alan. We're wasting time here. Now, you see that arrow right there? Exit. It said exit error 2. There's a sign that, okay, like they're getting slammed, and it's starting to nerf me a little bit. And we'll just watch that. And you start seeing those errors, like, okay, that's a mental cue that, okay, yeah, man, they must be getting slammed at the moment. And you're paying for it, like, because now it's wasting tokens. It's got to resubmit that. You don't get a you don't get a refund for those tokens. Now, I think it was Windsurf, but it might have been Cursor that actually was very generous in that regard. Like, they didn't charge you for errors that it made in like resubmits, which is reasonable, right? Like, why am I paying for a resubmit? But like, I think Claude Code charges you. I'm pretty sure. Somebody check me on that. So it's off doing. I gave that a healthy list of things to do. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes up in a few minutes and says it's done, but it's actually not quite right. But hey, let's see. Putting Opus to the test. What does Opus stand for? Where did you get that name? It's such a crazy name. I always think of Opie on Andy Griffith TV show for those in the U.S. Latin term for work. Okay, all right, I'll buy that. Cool. It's always risky to pull something up live. Like, what if that had been something nasty? Like, I'd feel bad. You guys will forgive me, though, right? Hey, I got a number of people here. Nobody said hello recently. Drop me a chat and tell me you're still out there. With the real humans, please stand up. I know I got Adilsa and I got 3Ds. Who else I got out there? What I'm asking it to do is build the first panel here that's going to be a feature request panel, and it's going to have a list like this. But when I click on that list, then I want it to open on the right side like an email and show me all the details, and then we'll go from there. If we just get that going tonight, then I can vibe on the rest of it tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, it's chewing on this thing. It knows that's a big request. And that's why I purposefully committed before I did all of that. That's a pro tip for you. Before you do anything major, commit your code. So now if I don't like this at all, like if it starts like giving me crap, then I just say, hey, you know what? We'll worry about this tomorrow. I'll just revert all that, and then no harm, no foul. That's the beauty of version control. Don't be afraid to revert your code if you know that you saved it at a good point. See, that's why I like to, purposefully save it, because if it were saving it all the time, like how would you know what to revert to? Like you would revert right into the middle of some mess, and that'd be really bad. All right, guys, once again, if you're new to me, check me out in that free mentoring group up there. Also link in the description. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. The algorithm loves that. It'll show me some more love in return. And come drop into my free mentoring group. We're vibing in there every day. I'm providing information and others are providing value. And then inside of there, you'll find my Secure Vibe Coding Masterclass. This week, I'm running a Black Friday sale. That's what we do here in the US if you're outside the US, but you're welcome. And you can come on in and you can get an additional bonus from me. I'm doubling the amount of time one-on-one I'm spending with people. All right, if they sign up over the next few days, what I'm doing is I'm doubling. I usually give people like an hour. If they sign up for my top tier, I'm giving them 2 hours, and that's worth $1,000 because I usually charge $500 an hour if I'm doing consulting. So anyway, take advantage of that if you're interested. Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale. All right. Okay, look at that. It said it was done. All right. All right, here's the fun part. This is always the fun part, and I talk too much. Look, it did exactly what I told you it would do. It put feature request over here. Okay, and let's just do this. Okay, it put feature request here. When I click on it, okay, I see an inbox here. It says no feature request. I don't like that. but it's showing these in the backlog. I think I know why. Okay, it still didn't move things out of the backlog. So if I come over here to the board, so notice how they're still in the board? Okay, but we're really close to this working, guys. Really close. Look at this. This is awesome. It can filter on, like I just told it to filter on different things, right? So it's filtering on, it's sorting on date, votes, priority, and title. Like I didn't tell it to do those other things. It's just that smart. Okay, look. Okay, hey, that's really close, but you still have all of my requests in the backlog queue. I want to change it so that from now on out, all new feature requests go into this feature request list, not into the backlog. Okay, I want to then be able to select one of those feature requests, expand it on the right-hand side like in a mailbox. I think you already have that working. And then I also want a button in there that I can add it to the backlog. Now, we already have some 11 feature requests in the backlog. Move those over in the database and elsewise so that they're in this feature request, not on the current backlog. Cool. Man, I'm so glad I started speaking into. I never did speaking into the mic until I started doing these live streams. In fact, the first couple I told you guys I wasn't going to do that, but then, imagine how long it would have taken me to type that out, and it's boring to watch me type. So I'd much rather just say it in a vibe, and then I can come back to jamming with you guys. All right, guys, we got 3.5 minutes. Let's see how good this thing is. You notice it hasn't given us an error yet. You notice all night we haven't seen a convex error or anything like that? Man, that's a big upgrade from last week, right? Last week we'd have been like, convex error, convex error, convex error. It's like all of a sudden Opus understands convex. I think part of it is that really nice training we did to it. We fed it some convex files, but still, I won't take credit for all that. It wasn't working well on Sonnet still. And I was getting frustrated with it, but I haven't been frustrated with it in a couple of days. So I'm digging it. So now it's migrating the existing backlog items over to the inbox in the database. That's what I want to see. Yep. Hey, appreciate that, 3Ds. Put your comment up here for all to see. I appreciate that. I hope others are enjoying this as well, even though they're not giving me any chats. Not showing me any love, guys. Come on now. Pour my heart and soul out here. But no, I hope you guys are appreciating it. All right, it says it's done. Well, sort of. Hold on. Still doesn't mark this one done. Okay, now it's running a migration to move all of that backlog. It's doing it for you. Now, this is not migration in the sense of like Postgres where you have to make a file and then migrate it. No, it's just actually doing a function call right here. It's running it live right here. Migration, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it says it's done. Let's see. There they are, guys. Is this fun or what, man? Is this fun or what? Look. We added so much stuff tonight that I can't even remember all the things we put in here tonight. Look, we have an inbox now for our feature requests when they come in. When I click on it, look what it does. It expands over here on the right side. We can build this out. We can do so much stuff. Look, it automatically moves it to a board that I want. If I say right here, I'll say, move this to the backlog. Okay, it moved it to the backlog. It's out of this list now. If I come over here to the board, I have one in the backlog. Wow. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down here? It doesn't get any cooler than that, guys. We are just throwing features at this thing and it's okay, cool. That's what you want to do. So now I have an inbox style here and I can filter or I can sort on votes. Okay. There's my most voted one right here. If I expand on it right here, I can add it to the backlog or I can just manually move it to wherever I want it. I can just put it on done over here. Okay, I just moved that to done. It says completed. Let's go look at the board. One over here on done. Are you guys picking that up? That is pretty cool. Now, I can't revert that at the moment. Okay, I don't see a way to revert that. So you know what we'll do? We'll work on that tomorrow. Somebody remind me of that. Maybe I'll put a note down. Anyway, hey, look, we got 10 seconds left. I'm gonna end this stream on time tonight. And I'm really pleased with Opus, really digging it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hey, until next time, be blessed by the best and stay safe out there. See you in 2 nights.